Yo, what's up, guys? Josh, Cheng Nation here, and today we're back with Panda from the Controvert podcast. And today's episode, I think we're gonna just discuss. It'll be like a more or less debate, even though we're pretty aligned with our ideology. I think we still differ in terms of like style. So basically, you want to give a quick introduction for those who don't know you yet?
No, dude, I just want to say, no, we're gonna go fiery debate. I'm gonna go balls out with you, bro. We're gonna debate like no other, and we're not even gonna be friends after this anymore.
Dude, it's so stupid when people get way too heated with debates, bro. Like these online debates, some of these guys get like way too into it. It's like, bro,
it's more like arguments instead of debates, actually. But yeah, I guess
it's arguments.
Yeah, I'll start with the introduction. My name is Panda. I'm from the Controvert podcast, where we talk about problems in societal norms, and usually with like dating. But yeah, I have a background or history with being like a really big fuckboy, dated extensively, and now I'm on like the path of enlightenment, trying to right my wrongs, I guess, trying to make it more well known that we as fuckboys should have a little bit more humanity and have a little bit more responsibility. But at the same time, we still have to attract women. Like, we're not going to be simping to a point where we don't attract women at all. So I think that's the discussion that me and Josh, we had offline, and we're like, you know what? Let's just turn this into like a podcast. So now we're here. Yeah. Dude, we should talk a little bit about like how your current relationship is right now, like the girl you're dating, because I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, and like how we were talking on voice message. I think you were like, yeah, I think I want to take this girl a little bit more serious. So I think that involves like simping or something like that. So I think we could kind of differentiate like the nice guy attitude.
Like in what regard?
Yeah, like just like give some context with that, right?
Oh yeah, okay. Some context. So yeah, I've been in like Taiwan for a little over a month now. I've seen like 5 different girls. So here's the thing about Taiwan that I want to caveat, because if you watch this stream, you might think it's like, especially hearing Panda talk. Panda makes it seem like it's like freaking Candyland for dating, but it's actually not that easy in my opinion. Like I think only a certain archetype works in Taiwan in terms of girls like.
You make it look easy, man. What are you talking about?
No, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like I think if you're white, there's some girls that love white guys here, and then if you're ABC or like can speak Chinese fluently, because if you can't speak Chinese, it actually really like makes it difficult, because a lot of these girls will just like not really go on dates with you. And then I will also say like you kind of need to be like know what you're doing, because a lot of guys that come to Asia because they think it's easy, right? Like the passport bros thing. That probably is the case in Southeast Asia, like Vietnam, Philippines, maybe not Vietnam as much, but like Philippines and Thailand, from what I've heard from like clients and friends and stuff. But like if you're coming to Taiwan thinking you're gonna get like Thailand or like Philippine level of abundance, like quantity as well as success, like you're just setting yourself up for failure. Because even for me, like I primarily use Bumble and Hinge. The number of matches I got actually isn't that high. I would say what's high is actually just converting the conversion rates, like especially like how well the first date goes. Because I haven't had a single first date go poorly. Like I'm not trying to say that to brag. I'm just saying like out of the 5 dates I've gone on, like every single first date has gone well. Whereas if I compare it to Seattle, I went on like 20 first dates, and I would say like maybe only a quarter of those went well, or like well enough where I like the girl as well. Because I feel like Seattle's like fucking awful. Somehow I dated all software engineers, and I'm like piecing it together. I just come to a conclusion that like female software engineers are not as pleasant as like nurses or like different occupation. But that's a tangent for a different day.
Yeah. So what about this girl right now that you're dating? Like she's like someone that's like way better than like Seattle girls, right?
Yeah. So like out of the 25 girls I've seen since my ex, I would say she's a standout by far, in like a number of aspects. So number one, she doesn't have much dating experience, which is a plus, because I feel like there's a correlation between like amount of dating experience and jadedness. I would say even my ex, like she got like, even in our past relationship, I feel like there was some like lingering resentment towards like guys, because she got like kind of screwed over by like a like more of like a previous, relationship. So I think like kind of lack of it, like not lack of experience, but like lower amount of like experience. And then because I also think that like if a girl hasn't dated much, she still has like that innocent feminine like, kind of like pureness. Because that kind of leads to the second point is this girl is like super feminine and like nice and kind. Even when we went on the first date, like the like we got like dumplings or something. Every time a dish came, she would like always like serve me for like she like kind of like put the thing on my plate, and I've like never had a girl do that, so it just felt really nice. And then she also like sajiao, which is like act all cutesy and stuff, which I've never had. It's like a Chinese thing or a Taiwanese thing. And then I'll say like the third thing is like she doesn't seem like the type of girl that's like trying to play games or like kind of mess like modern dating mindset where it's like always trying to optimize. Like I think she's just trying to like find a boyfriend or whatever. So yeah, like I like so far it's been like a standout option where I haven't been dating other girls since I like met her. Which you can argue kind of like is like not like putting all my eggs in one basket. But I'll say the difference is like there's reciprocity. So like in the past example, which is the whole reason I'm in Taiwan, I went on like 5 dates with this chick, and then like the most we did was like kiss, but then I couldn't like go further, and she was like slow texter, a lot of like really red flag signals that she wasn't interested. And like I kind of also like put all my eggs in one basket there, but the difference was like lack of reciprocity. Whereas I think in this situation, on the surface, it might seem like I'm doing the same thing, but the difference is this girl is like super into me. Like I feel like every time we hang out, she's like very like a lot of physical touch, like very like says a lot of kind things, and there's just like a lot of kind of mutual reciprocity, I'd say. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the story. She doesn't live in Taiwan though. She lives in like a city an hour away. So
yeah, I just want to say like QB just stopped by on the stream. He's working on that trailer before he hits the gym. Thanks a lot, QB. Appreciate that. We're gonna have a stream this Sunday with QB. Well, I am. I don't think Josh is gonna have it, but I just want to say so. This case, it sounds like you found like a girl that's really good, and because like she's really affectionate, you feel like you could reciprocate that, right? You feel like you could be affectionate in return and trust that, correct?
Yeah, I think, dude, honestly, I think my nature as like a guy, especially with dating, is I probably do have more of that provider kind of mindset. Like I do want to like kind of take care of a girl, because I usually just pay for the first date, and I don't mind like just paying like if I take a girl on the date, I don't mind just paying for everything. And like, some people might be like, oh, that's like simpy, or you gotta just like ask them to split or whatever. Or like I remember I used to have a friend, like this white guy, he's like didn't even finish college. Like he's a really smart guy, but didn't finish college. He's like 6'4". I got into an argument with him because he's like trying to say like, oh, you should always split on the first date. And like maybe when you're younger and like the difference between like $20 makes a difference. But when you're older, you kind of just realize like not paying just kind of like sets you up. Like it's such an easy step that can really fuck things up if you don't do it. Yeah. So it's like, why would you like not pay the extra money just to save like a little bit if it can also like risk like you coming off as cheap to the girl, right? So so in general, I think I kind of have that, like if I like a girl a lot, I'm like willing to just like take care of her, and I kind of have that mindset. But the problem is, as we discussed earlier, some girls just like take advantage of that, especially the ones that don't reciprocate and aren't like, they don't treat you as the top option.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between like being a provider and like simping, right? So I think what I was trying to get at is more so like simping and being a nice guy just in general without like the financial aspect. I guess like financial aspect could be included in if you're just paying for this girl and she doesn't give a fuck about you, right? So I guess that's kind of what simping is. Like you're simping over a girl, like you're giving like a little bit too much affection. And so that's one thing I wanted to ask you, like, when did you meet this girl?
So I think it's been like 2.5 weeks. So like probably 18 to 20 days ago. We've gone on 4 dates, but here's the other thing I've realized, right? Because I was kind of thinking, like going back to that point about me getting like post clarity, it's happened with like a couple girls here where like I was actually kind of like into them, and then it's like a flip of a light switch, right? Yeah. And I think it also kind of coincides with like that maybe like 20-hour mark, like total time spent like 20 hours of like together, right? the light switch, right? But with this girl, I would say like even though we've only gone on 4 dates, total time spent together has been like 30 to 40 hours because most of the time she just like, because she doesn't live here, she just like stays over or whatever. So each date kind of feels like 2 dates in terms of like I would say like exposure, because if you think about it, dating is like a lot of vetting. Like you're trying to see if you're compatible, right?
There's a lot of affection. That's what you're saying. Like you guys have way more compatibility, and you feel like there's more emotions involved. Whereas like the other girls, like there's not that much. But I kind of want to caution about this because like you guys only met like 2.5 weeks ago, right? And you guys only been on 4 dates. If you start showing a lot of affection, it could also like backfire on you as well, because the time has been very short. And I think you asked me a question when you asked me, oh, should I start simping for this girl, or I might start simping for this girl because I see a lot of potential with her. But I want to caution you and a lot of guys out there, and you could debate this too. This is kind of what I want to debate. For my stream, it's actually debating if simping is gonna backfire on
52 minutes in.
Yes. I think you mentioned that before too. You're like, yeah, I think to a certain extent you have to start acting like a nice guy once you meet a girl. But I think otherwise. I don't think you necessarily need to act like a nice guy at all. Like you could always still be a gentleman without acting like a nice guy. You could still hold the door for a girl, but not be like this guy that goes like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Do you love me? I think that's the difference, because a nice guy says things that's a little bit too much. And that's what I'm trying to like prevent, because I know you get very passionate about a girl quite quick. So hopefully it's different with this girl, right? But I just don't want you or any of the brothers to fall into this scheme where it's like men should be more affectionate because there's like an uptrend of men that are being F-boys. So now we have to show to these women that we're really simpy and nice guy. But dude, trust me, like I've been there where I acted like a nice guy. It didn't get me anywhere. And so I think like to a certain extent, yeah, you have to act more loving and more affectionate, but you don't necessarily have to act like a nice guy. I think a nice guy, what he does is he makes himself look very inferior and puts this girl on a pedestal. So this girl looks like very high and mighty so that she can stomp all over him. So that's why I advise you. I was like, just keep doing what you're doing. I feel like within 2.5 weeks, it's still really quick to like start giving all this affection. So I'm not saying don't give any affection, but like I would say kind of like ease it up, right? And not just.
But what
like,
if this girl's like super? What if the girl is like giving like a? I've never had a girl so affectionate. Like it's like every time she sees me, she wants to like a lot of kissing, like holding hands, or like she like really like says a lot of like sweet things. So to me, it kind of seems like in this specific case, I think what stood out to her so far is the fact that like I don't just like say I'm gonna do things. It's like I implement, because she says she's talked to guys. Like she actually told me I'm really bad at flirting. Like because she said she's been on like dates with actual like F-boys, and like what they do really well is they're able to like I think like they're like really witty, and like they're able to like kind of flirt without making it seem like it's flirting, right? Kind of like like I think when I flirt, it's a very like corny. Like I don't really flirt, to be honest. I'm a bit like just kind of like zinan. She calls me a zinan all the time, which is kind of like straight edge, I think. Right?
I think you kind of are in some certain regards. I wouldn't say you're a nice guy, but maybe a little bit more zinan. Maybe.
Wait, what's zinan for the non-Mandarin speakers here?
It's kind of like a straight edge guy, like a kind of a guy who how do I explain it? It's like a guy who doesn't understand certain cues, I guess. Not shit. Okay, I'll give an example. Like for example, if a girl is going to shower, you know what they say about like girls when they go shower, it means they want to do some stuff after. So after she goes shower, and then he's like just chilling in the room, and he's like, oh, do you want to do anything? She's like kind of like hinting at something. But what do you mean?
Dude, I'm not that clueless.
No, I know you're not. You're not clueless. I wouldn't say you're clueless. I feel like Zinan has like different categories, like the clueless part, but also more like
exactly.
all right, the clueless part, but also more like the innocent type, you know. I think you more so fall in the innocence. Yeah.
Let me just pause this stream real quick. Gunther SB, I think you donated before, but like appreciate the donation. I only cold approach, no online. I did well dating many US co-eds. I don't know what's co-eds, but in Taiwan I'm fluent in Chinese. I had a lot of first dates, but seldom second dates. They say they're busy. Why might this be? So I think that's just like a symptom of like you didn't build enough attraction on the first date. I have no idea what you're doing on the first date. Like I think if you're fluent in Chinese, but you have like a bit of a ABC accent, I'll recommend using that to your advantage in terms of like, so someone that's really good at that is Panda. Like, can you give an example of like how you talk, like with the Chinglish? No homo. It sounds kind of gay if you do it to me, but like we can just pretend there's a third party here.
Yeah, okay. I'll just give a whatever one. So, what's a girl? Okay, Julia. So I'll just call you Julia because your name starts with a J, right? Just go like,
okay.
Hey Julia， 这个衣服，你的衣服，这个灰色的衣服有点 matching your vibes， 因为我感觉这个你的 vibes 是比较像一个 classy 的 ，so classy 的 vibes， 因为可能美女是比较有这个 classy vibes。So do you kind of see how I kind of said she's a 美女, which is beautiful woman, without directly telling her, oh, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I said, women who are classy are usually beautiful. And I said, she's classy. So that's an example like of how I would kind of mix and match like Chinglish. You kind of throw in like words or key phrases in there. I think I should do that one.
Yeah, I will say like I gotta give credit to Panda because I think single-handedly like at least 3 out of these 5 dates was probably because of like your advice, because I basically use like Bumble audio, and like a lot of these girls told me they wouldn't have met up with me because they thought my profile looked kind of like catfishy because I have like professional pictures, and like they thought it was like a 照片, like a scam. But because I sent the audio message, and then on top of that, like I tweaked a few things, and they all said like they really like my voice. They like met up with me for the first date, and like I'd say what Panda taught me that like helped, it was very effective, is like first kind of like talking deeper, like a little deeper than you'd normally talk, and then also like using the Chinglish thing. For example, like there's that one like girl that, you know, the rural fan thing, because I basically had on my bio like I want to like eat the best like braised pork rice, and then I was like trying to figure out what to say to this one chick, and like Panda is just like, oh yeah, just say something like 我很想去吃最完美的卤肉饭，因为很久没有来台湾。And then 因为我也是觉得你是很，我跟你是
okay, that one was a little bit extra. That one was too extra, dude. I wouldn't say that to most girls. I think
the vibe was there. The vibe was there, but like I didn't even know what one may meant.
Yeah. I think she kind of thought it was cute because like you're trying, and then she could sense your Chinglish and your accent. So not all guys could pull it off. Only guys who don't speak Chinese that's could pull it off. But I think the biggest thing is like the content of what you say too. Like I feel like when guys are just like trying to ask a girl out and focus on that a lot, like what I do, I just tell them about my day. I was like, I just go like, yeah, I had a great day. Like I just, you know, did a podcast, like live stream with one of my buddies, and we just talked about like F boys and nice guys, and then, you know, we'd start a conversation just based off that, and she'd be like, oh, you do podcasts? And I'm like, yeah. But then I don't really show girls my podcast until like way later. We kind of discussed that before, but we don't need to discuss that again.
Yeah because Taylor, because I'm kind of curious, like now that we're talking about it, I think it's kind of hard to give specific advice in terms of like how you act on the dates, because I think what works really well for me is that dichotomy, because my Chinese is worse than yours. Like, dude, even this girl, this current girl, like we actually speak English like 80% of the time. I think she thinks my Chinese is a lot worse than it is, because we'll just be like at the restaurant, and then like I can completely understand what the worker is saying, and then she'll like just turn to me every single time like, oh yeah, she just said this. It's like, oh yeah, she just said if you want like water, just say that. I'm like, dude.
Dude, you think your Chinese is that bad? That's pretty bad.
No. I think she's like kidding. Then she get like randomly impressed that I know like certain things.
Okay.
So it kind of works its way out. But like, yeah, you know, Gunther, I'd say just be yourself. Like, not in the like freaking blue pill advice way, but more so like if you have like you know, I think that Taiwanese girls really value authenticity because they're more traditionally minded compared to US girls overall. Like, obviously that's like a sweeping statement, but typically people who are more traditionally minded, I think they just want that reassurance that like what you're looking for aligns with what they're looking for. Like most girls here are looking for like LTRs. You know, like when I was going on each date, it was normally like single file line. Like I don't really like, maybe aside from like the first dates, like first few dates, like I usually just focus on one girl at a time, and I am very like kind of authentic with like, you know, telling them what I'm looking for and stuff. So,
but here's the thing
perhaps
about
you're
like,
just like,
yeah, I want to caution about like being authentic to girls you perceive as authentic, because we're often misled just as human beings. Like I would say men and women, we're often misled. And just because, like, for example, Josh, right? Like you met this girl 2.5 weeks ago, maybe you feel like she's being authentic, but you could be misled. I'm pretty sure you're not being misled, but at the same time, you want to kind of gradually tune your authenticity, and like tune it up. I mean, not like tune it down, but like you want to increase it, and not just all of a sudden just have this vapid conclusion. Oh, you know what? This girl meets all this criteria. I'm going to start treating her with a lot of respect, with a lot of affection, with a lot of love. She's going to feel like, oh shit, this is way too much. Even Taiwanese girls. I've done that. I've done that. I speak from experience because I've had girls like, we're very affectionate, but then once I start having my affection way past hers and it's out leveling hers, she starts to not be affectionate as much, and she starts to do less too. And so
definitely,
to keep anyone in check, you don't give way too much affection. Like I would say for any person, guy or girl, like you kind of have to match that person and slowly increase it and kind of test it out. But if you all of a sudden just come to this conclusion, like what you kind of mentioned, you were like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna start simping for her, something like that, right? Because she's like really good, like she's better than a lot of girls in the US. I was like, just be careful, because it could turn her off. So
well, I think I use simping the wrong way like half the time. Like I don't think it's necessarily simping. I just think like because she does reciprocate. It's more like I'm doing a lot. Like I'm like pursuing. I'm chasing, like not chasing, because chasing also implies like an imbalance of reciprocity. But I'm treating her like kind of like very what's it called? Like maybe like dating more seriously. Because even Dode's 123 said that like exactly what you said. I think it is an energy match situation. So I don't actually think what I'm doing is simping. I think I'm just maybe like she says like, oh, I really like how you spoil me. Like, because no other guy has like traveled to her city to see her or like whatever. But I was just telling her like, dude, like, I mean, I enjoy spending time with you. And for me, it's an opportunity to like explore a new city as well. So it's kind of like a win-win, right? I feel like for me, I'm just setting myself up for win-wins. But I do agree with you that you never want to be way more invested in the girl, because they do get turned off, especially the ones that are like more borderline. And I learned the hard way with the girl in the US. Like I came off like way too strong, and like in hindsight, it was actually a good thing because it got me rejected faster. That's why I'm kind of like I'm kind of like on the edge of this. Like I can see pros and cons of like playing your cards different ways. But ultimately for me, I just feel like with my type of personality, I'm like so bad at lying, and like I'm very like kind of direct, that like it's better for me just to like, you know, try my hardest, and then if I fail, I fail kind of thing. Like even if I know, like even with the girl that was like the last girl that like we went on 5 dates and she friend zoned me, maybe I could have squeezed out another like 2 or 3 dates and then gone a little further. But ultimately, I don't think you can like develop attraction like over time. Like the girl is either like about you or not. And I feel like the difference with this girl is I can tell she really likes me just kind of off the bat. So it's not a situation where like she's playing games with me. So I'm like kind of more willing to like take her seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like even if she's not playing games with you, or if you feel like she's not playing games with you, it's still something that you need to like fine tune and not like give too much. I feel like it should be a standard that men should all do, or just anyone, right? Don't give too much at the start, but also don't question this person like as if they're a-holes. Don't question them as if they're not giving affection. If they're not giving affection, screw it, dude. But yeah, like if you feel like they're giving a lot, like you still kind of like just match that. Like, you know, even Doge said that. And if you just have it where your love or affection is outweighing or out leveling theirs, I think I would consider that simping. Even if they still have a good amount of affection for you, you could still be a simp. Like you could still be classified as a simp. If, for example, her love for you is like 89%, your love for her is like 100%, and you're just doing things like posting her on Instagram and she's not posting anything back, there's no reciprocity. I feel like honestly, and that's my experience. I've done that. I posted a girl.
I agree. I agree with you.
A lot on my Instagram. I'm never simping again. Never again. Because another thing you have to keep in mind is that you need to keep your partner in check at the same time. It's sad to say, but I feel like human nature is just like that. We like to take advantage of people who are generous and the people who give less. I'll give you an example. So I have friends. I help them out with like job applications. Okay. Whenever I post anything on my Instagram, they don't like it. They don't comment, nothing like that. But then when they see a content creator who has never given anything, and they're still in hopes of maybe this content creator, who is also my friend, will give me something back in one day if I keep commenting. They're always anticipating that reciprocation. Right? And that anticipation makes them want to keep working harder and harder. If you give way too much, that person is going to work less. It's happened so many times to me where I gave way too much, but it's also on the flip side. I've done that too, where I didn't give anything. I see this girl, she gives me so much. So I always see this. And a lot of the F boys out there, they could probably agree with me on this. You will find that it's always a push-pull thing, right? But I felt like a lot of the girls that I pushed away more, they liked me way more than I liked them. And the ones I tried to agree with you, the ones I try to pull in, they liked me the least. So that's the thing. I'm probably never going to post a girl on my Instagram. I'm never probably even going to simp for a chick ever again. That's the thing. Like I will still have the ability to love a girl, but I'm not going to be in love with a girl like head over heels and like posting, oh my God, babe, I love you so much. I can't wait to come back to see you, blah, blah, blah. If anything, it'd just be like, hey, I miss you. That's it. It wouldn't be like, I can't wait, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy.
Well, so I actually agree with everything you said, by the way. But I'm kind of curious, in your current relationship, I feel like you actually treat that girl really well in terms of what your actions say. Like maybe you don't like say a bunch of like words and stuff, but I personally also believe actions speak louder than words, because even this girl like I'm seeing now, she's complained about how like some guys will like, she's tired of like guys, like she's gone on dates where like guys will say a lot of like really nice things, and then maybe they get post clarity or they like go on a date and then they'll say like a bunch of things, then like ghost her or like whatever. Like she's had kind of like the flip side, I guess. Because I also do agree it's a push pull, but then, you know, I kind of go back and forth, because I think the reason that whole like the girls we chase harder maybe don't give us the time of day, and the girls you push away like you more, like yeah, it's also human nature, but it's also probably related to the fact that the ones you're chasing are going to be like higher, kind of like higher perceived value than you, and the ones you're pushing away are lower perceived value as well. Because at the end of the day, like even with your content creation example of like your friends commenting on influencers and maybe like ignoring you or whatever, it comes down to value perception. If a girl perceives you as like a high value option, she'd be an idiot to not like adjust her like kind of like how she dates accordingly, right? So I personally think that if you're like high enough value when you're dating, you're what you actually do in terms of behavior doesn't matter that much, because like at the end of the day, like if someone's trying to date for long term, you're just trying to find like the best possible option
I disagree
that
with
you
that.
can settle with
I
it.
feel like even if you're a high value guy, you could still be a loser in that girl's eyes. You could still turn her off. You could be this billionaire. You could be like Elon Musk, billionaire, Bill Gates, whatever, right? All the money in the world. But if you act way too simpy, you could push her over the edge, and she'll be like, dude, this guy is like giving me the ick. You know, like so I think that's the thing. Like like simping and being affectionate, there's a difference. Like what you said, I'm very affectionate with this girl. I'm there for her. I treat her with a lot of respect, but at the same time, I don't say things that are like, you know that term 油条, like 很油, like that.
To be honest, I showed that girl you're flirting, and she said, "你的 flirting 很油."
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I feel like when girls get the ick and they feel like it's simping, they get like it's because it's cheesy. It's because it's 油条. And
yeah. So
that much.
So I think it's perceived value though, because you gave an example. Because there's also going to be like really rich people that have no game, right? Like maybe they're high value in terms of like wealth, but I think their perceived value is going to be low because they have no game, right? I think if your perceived value is high enough, like that's assuming you probably have some game, like you can talk to girls. It like more or less like the minute details, they're gonna play itself out, because at the end of the day, you're like spending a lot of time with this person. So like the reason I don't really think it's an effective strategy to try to change from your default nature too much is because when you end up in a relationship, like you spend so much time with someone that like you can't really continue like tweaking and like doing like push pull if it's not aligned to your authentic personality. And I will say that like my ex, definitely like there was a lack of reciprocity, and I think ultimately it did end, but I actually failed to see a lot of those signs because you know, like for example, like she hated physical touch, and then like a few other things. She was like very like not romantic, and I kind of realized for me I need someone with a lot of physical touch. So just comparing this girl to like my ex, it's kind of like the polar opposite. So that's another reason I feel very drawn to her, is because I think I kind of know like what I'm looking for in terms of like a girlfriend, and then this girl seems to be like quite in line, right? And then I will say like another reason like I feel like it might be kind of more pressed is because it's also a time sensitive thing. Like in my mind, I'm only in Taiwan for like a limited time, right? Like I know she's gonna move to the US, but that might be like next year or like end of the year. So I kind of need to just like make a good enough impression where like I think she's willing to do long distance. You got. So that's why it might seem like I'm doing a lot, because I like pretty much the way I see it. I don't know if it's because I watch too many fucking dramas, dude. Like I love this shit, but like you know, I feel like I kind of need to like I love rom-coms, but I feel like I need to like kind of like win her over before I like move back to the US essentially. Because I'm only here for the short term. Yeah. Because the truth is, once I'm back in the US, it's kind of over in my opinion.
I don't think it's over. I think that's the problem. I feel like there's been so many instances where I don't like long distance, especially in Taiwan. And then, dude, if anything, the love gets stronger when you're away. And yeah, when you're not, I don't know. I think like women, like they unconsciously affiliate that like, oh, he's not here and I miss him even more. Whereas when you're there and then it's like you're spending all this time with her, then it's like kind of getting a little bit more trite. It's getting more hackneyed. But then like when you come here, the love gets stronger. So I think you're very worried about like if you guys are going to develop the affection to a point where you guys have this solid growth. But at the same time, I think you've already had that initial level of attraction that you don't need to spend too much energy, because it could also, that energy, be used against you. Honestly, I'm going to say, yeah, like Taiwanese girls, they're good. They're not really going to use that against you, but there are still manipulative girls out there in Taiwan. A lot less than America, but you have to be careful. You have to be cognizant how that gets used against you.
Yeah, I think I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. I think like, I guess like, I think where you might think is I disagree with you. Everything you've told me, I actually like think makes sense. I think just in my mind, I'm like someone that like I'd rather like the fear of pain. I think like this is like Alex Hormozy is saying, so just give him credit. But like I think the fear of regret outweighs the fear of pain for me for this. So like if I don't kind of like pursue to the max and like kind of like put all my like cards, like, you know, like try as hard as I can, that fear of regret I think will haunt at me. Versus like, I think if I like take action and I can feel personally like, you know, I tried my best effort at like you know, dating her and I fail, then I think it's fine.
But do you ever question like, did you put too much effort into this? Because I know for like a job, it's very black and white. You either put a lot of effort or you didn't put a lot of effort. But for this, like for like dating, sometimes if you put too much effort, do you ever feel like that could turn off someone?
Yeah, but then I don't think that's the right person though.
Okay.
Because that's the thing, right? Like it's like if I need to like dumb down how I like act and change how I act just to make myself seem more attractive for this girl, it's not gonna work out anyways in the long run.
Yeah. But at the same time,
I think that's where I differ. That's where I differ with you, I think.
Yeah, but how I look at it is that it's like a tuner scale. Like you could tune it up like slowly, adjust it up. Not like have, man. I always use like math for this, but like if you guys know like the graph like y equals 2x, okay, instead of a 2x you can make it like y equals x. So when x is like 1, then y is 1, whereas like if x is 1, y is 2. So I feel like it's the rate of increase, how you want to provide that affection. And I would say in 2.5 weeks, you do say that you're not simping, right? Like you do say that your definition of simping is different. So I think we're probably talking about different things. So yeah, I would say simping is more like what I said. Like just
I think we're aligned with simp. I agree. I think I was an ex simp, so I can relate. But even back to your math equation, like it's a dependent variable, right? Like there's an X and Y axis. So like, I think obviously if you're like input, like your Y is like way whack, like it's 2X, like you're putting 2 times the effort as the girl, assuming the girl's effort is X. Yeah, that's like fucked, right? But if you're close to 1, I think it's fine. Like, I think as long as like, it's like somewhat close to 1, it's like, that just means like reciprocity. But I did used to make the mistake as like an X, like super simpy guy, like being like 2 to like I'm putting way more effort into these girls that like aren't that interested. So
I would
like
say there's a balance, because like you can't put like way too little. You can't put like way too little effort, and that affection is just not there. You also can't put way too much effort that they just think, oh, it's too much. But I think in your case, because you need to develop this ASAP before you like come back to the States, I honestly I think it's like hit or miss at this point, right? Like that's what you're thinking. But at the same time, I don't think it's hit or miss, because you can still come back here and you guys could still develop that online connection.
Yeah. I mean,
is it worse to be a simp or LGBT in terms of?
Oh yeah, let me just respond to Skate Check real quick. Appreciate the super thanks, by the way. Yeah, I think these tips do apply to white guys. Like honestly, I think dating tips is like more or less universal. Like the only difference with race is like how much like comfort you can build and like relate to them. In terms of like simp or LGBT, like I think like LGBT dating is just so different than like hetero dating, right? Like I don't know too much about like being a gay or whatever, but like I think even if you are LGBT, like you don't really want to be simpy. Like in general, simping is just like essentially like just putting in too much effort on like people that don't value you. I think that's like the easiest way to say simping, right? So okay, kind of going back to like this discussion, like I do think it's a bit like, okay, this is the way I framed it in my mind, and like you probably would disagree with this. I think I found like kind of like a diamond in the rough person, because she definitely has like a lot of guys that like are like pursuing her at the same time or chasing her. Because she's had a few examples she's given me where it's like she says like, oh yeah, you know, I tend to relate to guys better, and like she'll give an example, and then I'll just be like, well, you realize like half of these guys are only like laughing at you or jokes or like being super nice because they actually like you, and they're just like not being direct with their intention. And then I was like, I bet if you texted like half these guys that you like them, like they'll probably like say they've liked you the whole time, right? And she actually did like kind of validate my claim. Like she's like, oh yeah, there's a few examples of like this guy, he turned out to like me, and like, oh, I didn't even realize. So I think she actually is like a bit like, she actually is genuinely naive. I don't think she's like lying to me saying like, oh, you know, like ditzy, like, oh, you know, like, you know, she's not like a ditzy girl. She's actually like smart. She went to like NTU and stuff. Yeah. So like, to me, it kind of seems like I've actually discovered like a diamond in the rough type of option where like, I think there's actually like potential, like this is going to sound simpy to you, but I think it's like a potential candidate for marriage. I'm being like dead ass here.
Bro, wait, did you say something similar about some other girls that you dated over there?
No, because the difference is like there's a major gate check with the two other girls I was like into that were like local here. After around like the 20-hour mark, like 3 dates, right? I stopped liking them after the post clarity. But I think like with this girl, there has been like only the opposite of post clarity. It's almost like post clarity in the opposite direction.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I feel like that's simping, because like if you are already romanticizing like real quick, okay, even though you say this one differs from the other ones, where the other ones was like after you had the post clarity, whatever, right? This one, you even after the post clarity, you still have that affection for her. The point still stands that it's only been 2.5 weeks. So I kind of want to.
But I don't know why you're so like fixated on like the duration in terms of number of days, because what I'm trying to argue is like in those 2.5 weeks we've gone on like 4 dates, right? But each of those dates that we've gone on, some of them have lasted like over 24 hours. So like they're like mega dates. Like it's like if I were to like, even the girl that friend zoned me after 5 dates, I think our total time spent dating over 5 dates was maybe 15 hours to 20 hours. But like I've spent more time in like 1 date with this girl that I'm seeing than 5 dates with a girl in the US. So like in my opinion, I think a better metric isn't actually like number of days in terms of like, oh, we met on this date and then we've known each other for like whatever 2.5 weeks. It's more like how much time have you guys spent together, and is it enough, right? Because essentially like when you're dating, you're just trying to see like, okay, you need a bigger enough sample size to determine whether you want to like settle with this girl, right? So like if I've already spent like, let's say like 40 hours with a girl, that I think that's a pretty big sample size where, and also have a big enough sample size in the other direction where like I've dated enough girls to know like what's out there and like what I can get and kind of like my range, right? So I kind of know like, okay, if I don't choose, like, let's say like, you know, I can make the argument, oh, well, I can just like find a different girl in the US. In my circumstance of living in Seattle and stuff, it's like pretty much practically impossible to find someone that's gonna be as good as this chick.
No, I'm not saying that like she's not a good girl, and I'm not saying that you should not give her any affection or anything like that. I just think that when guys, I had this is something I mentioned before on the podcast, right? I had this like one simp guy, as a really good best friend, and he would always say after like a couple dates with like a lot of girls, he's like, I think I found the one. I think I found the one. I think I'm going to marry this girl. I think what sets up this guy and a lot of guys for failure is that it's kind of like a mantra, because the more you say stuff like that, I don't know if you said that about like other girls, like if you want to marry them, but I feel like when you say that quite often, like very positive things about a girl, then it could lead to heartbreak. I don't think you get heartbroken. I'm just debating the fact that like guys shouldn't say this, especially on like something that's like a time scale. I'm focused on time scale because you want to be very cautious about this, because marriage is a big thing, and then once you start saying that, you might start believing that and speaking it into existence, and then you'll be like disappointed in yourself, like, oh fuck, like it actually didn't work out like how I planned. I do think this girl is a really good girl. I do think that the way you're saying it, there's a lot of marriage qualities. I just think that like guys saying this in general, it's a mantra issue. I think maybe
I agree with that.
It should be, it's kind of like I love you, right? Like those 3 words, it should only be said when you really love that chick. It's kind of like the marriage thing. You want to be 100% sure. right?
mm.
So
Yeah, I will say like it is kind of like the boy who cried wolf, but like the other times I've said like, oh, I found the girl, like I found the one. I'm honestly kidding, but like I think this time I'm actually for real.
I'm just looking
like,
out for you though. I'm just looking
yeah,
out for
yeah,
you.
no, no, I know. But I think the weird thing is I feel like I have a very like all or nothing personality. I might be on the spectrum, dude. Like I'm like being dead ass because whenever I like a hobby, I get like it's like a special interest. You know how like autistic people they get like special interests. Like I feel like I'm the same way with everything I do. Like I'm not interested in a lot of things, including girls. Out of the 25 dates I've gone on, first dates, I probably only had like really strong interest for like maybe 10%, right? Same with hobbies. You can give me 10 hobbies, I probably only like one
what
of
about
them.
the first girl? Like you're all like, oh, I'm probably gonna go like travel there to like Thailand.
Nah, I feel like I do. I feel like low-key I'm like love bombing on accident. Like because I also will say like these girls probably think I'm a fuckboy since I'll say like really nice things and then I'll just get like post clarity and then just like kind of dump them.
I really hope that's true, but I mean, if that's the case, I feel like it's just, yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's just whatever at that point. If you're just like,
Yeah, it's like because
like
I'm thinking like the girls where like I can actually see myself like if I dated them, I'll be like very happy, right? And also that's kind of like a value perception. Like perhaps I think like my values here, and then like what I'm capable of getting in terms of like dating is like a range, and then the girls are kind of upper end of the range because the other two girls in Taiwan that like I liked at first, and then I quickly like got the post clarity and like didn't like him. I think a lot of it was due to like that value perception because even on the dating app, I was like, like I don't know if I'm like that into the girl like when we matched and started talking, but I still went on the date, and then maybe like because they were nice, I kind of just like went on a few more dates. And then like the post clarity just really like gave me that like catalyst of like decision making where I'm just like, oh yeah, I mean, dude, I can't date this girl.
I think if you have control of it from the very get-go, like you kind of already had some doubts, right? But then you were just like saying it for fun and you didn't really say it with a lot of conviction that you're actually going to save my bro.
Charles is like a Taiwanese fuckboy too, bro. The biggest fuckboy in the Bay. Dude, fuck. We have the whole California here.
Oh my god. Yeah. I just think that like if you're not saying it with conviction, like, oh, like I think I'm in love, but it's not actually like you're in love, then I think that's fine. But
those 123's got my back, man. Based on his IG stories, the way she acts and treats him top tier quality, you can tell they just vibe well.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I never doubted she's top tier, but the thing you have to be careful about, Doge, is that you could have these girls that act very top tier, but then later down the road, this happened to me. I had a girlfriend, she acted top tier as hell. She brought me medicine, she did my laundry, all that stuff. But the moment I started simping, the moment I started posting her on Instagram a little bit too much, she stopped doing everything. I'm not saying I'm a misogynist, like I get girls to do my laundry. Here's the problem. I do laundry, I cook, I clean, I organize, I make a good living. And at the same time, I was also helping these girls get jobs, right? So when I was doing a lot more, she started to not even be able to do like the most basic things. So I'll give you an example. When she would like go to work, I would make her a lunchbox. And then like during this time, I was simping a lot for her. But when my mom, something that like my mom cooked, she was like, hey, pack some lunch for Panda. And she gave my girlfriend the lunchbox so she could like she didn't even have to get the lunchbox from the cabinets. She looked at it and she was like, oh, he can do it himself. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, who said that?
My girlfriend at the time. She was like, oh, he could do it himself. And I was like, what the fuck? And this was
why did she change it? Why did she change up her behavior though?
Because I simped a lot and she started being cold. She also started talking shit about me. I look, legit, dead ass. I took her on a Vegas trip, dude. I drove, you know, I'm in LA, right? I drove 4 hours to Vegas. That's usually like the drive 4 or 5 hours. And then I didn't have the right prescription glasses in my car. I drove without without contact lenses. I drove without glasses. And occasionally I would put on the wrong prescription glasses and my eyes were tearing up. When we got to Vegas, we had some other female friends over there, dude. They were talking shit about me and like my other friend. Like the girls were just there talking shit about me and my other friend. I was just like, dude, I I sacrificed my time to take you to Vegas so you can have a good time here. She never been to Vegas, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take her out on this drive. And she started talking shit. She started, yeah, even when we got back, she was talking a lot of shit. She didn't really do much. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the more a person gives, if that person gives a lot more, it's probably not going to be reciprocal.
I agree. Yeah. Appreciate the support, man. Yeah. See, like, this is the thing. I think it just comes down to reciprocity, right? Because I actually made the same mistake with my ex. When we first started dating, she was like hella nice to me. And then she kind of like, once she started going to school and stuff, she definitely exhibited a lot of red flags. And then the reciprocity, I think she actually treated me better at first, and then it slowly tipped, and then we went long distance. And then I think the only reason she stayed with me was because of like I was like really like nice and stuff. But yeah, I kind of learned that. Yeah.
Sorry. That's proof though. That's proof that like men should still keep their girl in check. It could very well apply to girls that should keep men in check as well, because I've seen like D-bag dudes. At first they're very loving to the girl, but then afterwards they become like a fat slum that just watches TV and lays on the couch. Like you see the typical traditional dad. He's just there while the housewife or traditional woman is just cleaning and cooking and all that stuff, and he's just chilling a lot of the time. That's what I'm saying.
You can't get complacent. Like I got complacent in my last relationship, dude, because I like once, like, first off, I met her after a fucking bodybuilding show, like my season, so like I got fat, and I just never got lean again because I didn't have that motivation. Like I haven't been lean like this in 4 years because it literally took that heartbreak from the girl that friend-zoned me after 5 dates to have enough drive to be like, fuck it, dude, I'm tired of like not being optimized and like kind of.
But that's the thing, like
out there. You mentioned so it's like a complacency thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You mentioned that like we can't be push pulling because that person is going to get to know us and all this stuff. I wouldn't say it's like push pulling at that point. It's more like being strategic. And I feel like you need to be strategic for the whole duration of your relationship. You can't.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
it's not like telling some person to completely change their behavior. It's just fine tuning some things. There's some times where even with my current relationship, I'm like, I want to tell her a lot of these simp things that is on my mind, but I kind of go back on that. I'm like, you know,
what's an example of that? Like, what do you mean, like the simp things?
Something like, yeah, I want to see you right now, and like I miss you a lot. And after this, like after I get off work, like we could get dinner. And I really want to get dinner with you. I'm really happy that we can finally get dinner, whatever, right? I kind of just tone it down and I just go like, yeah, like my parents, like they would get like dinner after they finish work, because they're like, yeah, we worked hard for a whole week and now we could finally eat together. So I kind of say something like that, and I go like, yeah, so it's good to finally be able, like after a full week of work, finally be able to eat with you, and I'm happy. It's different.
I get what you're saying, but I kind of actually disagree with you in a sense, because I feel like you're shaping just from your past experiences, like thinking this is the way I need to act for this girl. But I mean, I don't know. You're obviously like, I've never met your girl, but like I've seen the video, like I've seen some like videos of you guys together and like how she treats you and everything. I think she's actually would appreciate you talking in the first way. Like obviously you don't want to say like too much. You never want to overdo anything. But
I agree.
I can tell she genuinely likes you a lot, and like I don't think there's something you could say that would like be too much for her.
I agree, but the thing is this: like, would you rather take a risk, or would you rather play it safe? And so that's
I feel like relationships are a risk though. Like if you get married to a girl or like have kids, that's a risk you're taking.
But if you were to simp and increase your risk, I would rather just play it more safe. And I'm not being like a D-bag.
It's not simpy though. It's not simpy though.
But it's not.
I don't think it's simping.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
No, but I think what you describe is not simping either, because the girl, like simping is only when the girl, like the reason I would say I was actually simpy in my last relationship was my ex like didn't do shit for me. Like in terms of she never traveled to Seattle to visit me. I visited Vegas every single time, And like if I would like ask her to like drive like 25 minutes away to like meet up somewhere, she's like complains like, oh, why can't you live closer? And it's like, bro, I like traveled like by plane to see you, right? So I would say that was more simping because she didn't give me like the respect or reciprocity. But in your case with like your girl, I can tell like just from like very subtle body languages and like just how she treats you that she really likes you. So I don't really think like I think like her level is already up here and you're probably maybe like here and you're like, oh, I'm kind of scared if I like say one thing right here.
No, mine is definitely higher. Mine is definitely higher. I always tell her I miss her, and then sometimes she doesn't even say it back. That's the thing.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I don't see that part of the equation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and even so, I feel like if she were to tell me like she misses me, I wouldn't be like, hey, I miss you, and be like love bombing her a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, yeah, I miss you too. And I'll occasionally like tell her I miss her like from time to time, but I wouldn't be telling her every day I miss you. I think that's the difference because
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, like it's just I feel like a love bomb in any case is a no-go. Even if she's like love bombing you, you shouldn't love bomb her like a lot. Like as a man, especially, like you should just like be like, yeah, I miss you. But not being like, hey, I miss you, baby. Oh my God. I can't wait to see you. You know, oh my God. I think that's different. You can't do that as a man, dude.
Yeah. I do think that like I will agree with you because you kind of have to match the vibe, right? Like I think the reason that sometimes you see these like whack cases is like the guy or the girl has no self-awareness. So like they don't really like get the vibe, right? Like obviously if a girl kind of like texts you slowly and you respond a minute later, that's like, I don't care like when you see the fucking text, if a girl texts slowly, but like you guys like it's like she's busy or whatever, don't respond like right away. You know, that's like there's no bigger ick than like the instant response, right? So there are a few things I think I already do subconsciously. Maybe it's because I'm just telling you like the more like bigger, like kind of more important things. But like I think like subtly there is always like a push pull to every relationship, including with guys too. Just human nature is like you kind of don't want to be like overly available for like anyone, I think. And unless it's urgent. I will say like there's a difference between texting like, oh, I miss you, and like kind of like just like stuff that's like not that urgent. But then if it's like, you know, you guys are trying to meet up for a date and then the girl's like, hey, I'm here, and then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna intentionally like be late. That's kind of just like that's a little different because it's like time sensitive.
Yeah. We got a comment. I think kind of a bit jaded, but realistic, completely valid. I just feel there are outlier girls. Applying a single formula to every girl probably works on average, but if you find that one outlier, you can go all in. I was actually waiting for a comment like this. I love this comment, and Doge, I don't hate you for it because I've wanted to speak on this topic. I feel like a lot of guys that have a lot of experiences, they're not necessarily jaded. I think there's a difference. When someone acts jaded, it means they apply a formula that's very pessimistic. But mine is, I'm not telling you, hey, don't act affectionate to women. I'm telling you, like, you should be having reciprocal actions. You shouldn't be like just completely love bombing a girl. Even if you find that one outlier, I still don't think you should love bomb that girl. That could very well go against you.
What's love bombing though? Is it just like isn't love bombing just like the reciprocity equation just like tilted way too much?
Yeah, let me think of an example here. Let's just say let me pull up.
I think the problem is
Can you share this on the screen?
Can you just email it to me or like
yeah, I'll put it on your Instagram, yeah.
Can you just text it to me then? I'll just pull it up from text.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, dude, to be honest though, like I feel like with this whole thing, there are some like framework, like there are some kind of guardrails you want, right? Like obviously, like if a girl is acting a certain way, you don't want to like deviate too much, like in terms of like the vibe and like the push-pull dynamic. But at the same time, if you have a guy whose like nature is just he's like very caring or like whatever, and then you tell him to be cold, it's never gonna work. Or if there's a guy who's like super
I'm not
cold
telling
and
guys
like whatever.
Cold, I'm not telling guys to be cold.
I just think like you can't really like because I do think that you kind of are giving the advice like to what you call it, like if a guy's like being too nice to just like tone it down. But I think it just depends on like how nice the girl is. right? We can't give like we need to see case by case, like, oh, in this case, I think you can probably tone it up or tone it down. But it's too like context dependent to say like, oh yeah, you never want to do this, or you always want to do this. It's very dependent on like how the girl treats you, to be honest, is like what I'm trying to get at.
It is, but at the same time, like there's just can we agree that there's universal things that guys should just not do?
Like what?
Like oh my god, I miss you so much. It's just like acting like that.
I think if a girl first says like she sends a long ass voice message and is like saying how much she misses you and all that stuff, I think you can respond saying like
the tonality, like,
oh yeah, you should never talk like a bitch, yeah, unless you're doing it as a joke.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I mean, like anyone who talks like that as their default voice is never gonna even get like a girlfriend. So I don't even think that's like a
no, bro. There's actually guys that they sound borderline gay. They're actually getting girls like that. But
well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, I sent it to your oh fuck. Wait, I gotta block out some stuff because there's it's like names and all this stuff.
Okay, so going back, Korean guys get all the girls. I don't think Korean guys get all the girls. I do think they just use the K-pop to their advantage, but like, it's very just like a polarizing. Some girls don't even like Korean guys because they're too feminine, for them. Yeah, Charles, dude, your advice doesn't apply to any guy because you're like the biggest fuckboy in the Bay, bro. he's like, nah, I respond right away. It's like, dude, he literally had an example. I'll just like make it high level. How like he like went on a date with a Lou and he like converted a Lou to like liking Asian guys.
Yeah, I just sent it to you, the edited version.
Okay.
Yeah, let me check.
Charles, none of your dating advice applies to like the masses. Okay. So let's pull up an example of Simp Panda.
Have you seen this before?
No. Okay. So this is the.
Let me show you the picture too.
Is this your post?
Yeah, this is my post on my personal IG.
It's been 1 year since we've been together. We have all experienced or maybe just seen relationships with occurring stresses, severe frustrations, and or instability being with someone. Sometimes even doing crazy shit for love. I never experienced any of these, even with the amount of love we have for each other. It has been a very stable relationship and has been the happiest relationship of my life. If ever, we always put an end to disagreements quick.
Oh God.
I believe this all comes from capacity to understand one another, mitigating the amount of stresses we put on each other and supporting each other as best as possible. Selfless for each other. No matter how far we are apart from each other, we'll be staying strong and keeping it one-headed.
Holy shit.
Fighting. I've never put so much faith in a relationship as I do with her, which is why I believe in a future together and why this is the biggest thing I bought for any girl. Happy 1 year anniversary. Okay, 4/12/2022.
Brother,
That's all I can read. Okay.
brother, I wrote a Chinese version too, which is crazy, huh?
But hold up.
Yeah,
let me just give my response to this.
Okay.
Wait, is this the girl that like you're saying that like the example you gave earlier where she's your mom asked you to get okay, same one. Okay. I feel like when you go to weddings, like this is the kind of shit they say to each other though. So maybe it was just like not the right girl, because I don't think this is like, to be honest, this is not that bad. Like I don't even think this is bad. It just shows you like her a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is, dude, it's hella cheesy. Like looking in retrospect, it's not that I'm jaded, but I feel like I was just so madly in love to a point where I wasn't thinking straight that I posted some gay ass sappy shit like this because
but
I would say I would categorize this as something a real high value man ever should be posting, because this is I feel gay to all levels of high value or perceived.
You only feel gay though because of like the outcome, right? Like
no,
there could have been an alternative. There could have been an alternative universe where like this could be like a wedding vow. I feel like, you know, it's like you say a speech at the wedding and you're like, oh, how you met and
for wedding, yeah. But take this, like I posted a lot of these types of.
Oh wait, this is
not even 1 year anniversary.
Oh, this is a weekly post going on.
Yeah, dude, I posted a lot. Like I think one thing a guy should never do is like keep posting. keep posting a girl like this. Like this
Oh,
is
okay, yeah. I mean, what are you doing, bro? Come on.
this. Oh my god. Yeah. This is
Okay.
cringe.
I will say, yeah. I will say like you shouldn't like maybe like a once in like a milestone, like yearly anniversary, like fine. But like at the same time, this is just like if you post it too much, then it just comes off as you derive a lot of your value as a person from this relationship. And then that probably gives the girl some pressure, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck? What's
yeah?"
It's also like sometimes it causes cognitive dissonance, right? Because a girl just might actually feel a sense of pressure to perform, or she might just think like, "Oh, why does this guy like?" It kind of gives her the ick because it's like a little too much.
I think we're on the same page, bro. I think
Charles Charles like, I think you got the wrong girl, Panda. And then he's like, "Okay, wait, that was every week. Never mind, that's on you."
No, it wasn't every week. It was like every other month. Every other month.
Okay, that's not as bad. Okay, respect. We all done gay shit like this. Coming to clarity is what makes you not gay. That's true, dude. Okay, hold on. We gotta respect Panda for acknowledging this because a lot of guys will post this kind of stuff and they don't know they're doing anything wrong.
Chat, we could all agree this is gay, right? This is universally gay if a guy does this on a high frequency basis.
Yeah, I think the key word here is high frequency. I don't think it's gay if you do it like once a blue moon.
Yeah, and that's the thing about love bombing. I think it's a frequency scale because you're love bombing her constantly. Like, for example, you could give a lot of love in a short period amount of time.
Right. Sorry, I'm charging my laptop.
Yeah, I'll go.
You can respond to Doge's comment though.
He says, when I say go all in, I just mean matching the energy or vibe. Yeah, I think there's things that we can agree on universally that a guy should not do, which is something like this on a high frequency scale. And I think there's certain things that I said in here. It has been the happiest relationship of my life, dude. Posting something like this on Instagram, cringe.
Wait, dude, how funny is this?
Dude, like even if a girl were to do this to me now, today, I would reciprocate, but I wouldn't reciprocate like it has been a very stable relationship and has been the happiest day of my life.
It's not, dude. It's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad in my opinion. I was laughing because like this comment. Oh, I thought all in meant unprotected.
This guy's funny. We gotta have Charles on.
Yeah, dude, you like Charles. You like Charles. He's cool.
I feel like he's a very witty guy too. He says a lot of witty things.
Dude, yeah, this guy is like, dude. You don't want to live in the same city as him if he's single and you're single.
We probably get matched with a lot of the same girls that he's already like done stuff with.
Dude, you know what's fucking like what's absurd is we're all Taiwanese, dude. Like Charles is Taiwanese American too.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, honestly, Panda, I don't think like it's that gay, dude. Like I think maybe like you posted it like a little too frequently, but in reality, I think that's just not the right girl.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. Like, look, would a girl's love for you really decrease that much, or would that inhibit your growth if you just posted something that was just like 3-liners versus something that's a whole fucking essay like that? That's what I'm trying to say.
Actually, you know what? You know what? Actually, I don't know why you post on Instagram, because if I was gonna write something like that well thought out, I would just write it in a card and like give it to her like one-on-one. I think the gay part is you post on Instagram. Now that I think about it, because like wait, why'd you do that?
Okay, so I'll say why. It was a strategy thing. Okay, I keep a straight face now.
Dude, the fact that you just called that, the fact that you just said that. All right, let me pull up the message real quick, just for context for any new viewers that just joined. That this is a strategy right here.
Oh my god!
Right? This post right here is a strategy.
All right. So this is primal F boy stuff. Okay. So I just saw this guy's comment. So it's a strategy because like, okay, F boys are always strategizing. Okay. So in case we always have backup plans, right? Even though I did feel like this, we always have backup plans. So I wanted it to make it known that the next girl that comes along, if we were to get together, she would get this level of affection. And dude, this has worked. I'm telling you, like, okay, I have this, shit, this is kind of bad to say, but I have this bookshelf on my, I have a bookshelf in my room, and then it's filled with
this photo.
I have a bookshelf in my room, and it's filled with a bunch of like cards like that my ex-girlfriends gave me. And man, I'm exposing myself for this, but I purposely leave that on. And a lot of them ask me, oh, why do you do this? Do you still have feelings for your ex-girlfriend? I'm like, no, but I don't tell them this. What I don't tell them, what I fail to tell them is this actually makes them more encouraged to want to replace those memories. And so every girl that sees that, they start writing cards for me and they start putting it on the shelf. Except for this current girl that I'm dating. See, that's what I'm telling you. This current girl isn't that affection that you think. All right. So
okay, but I mean, okay, I will say that the current girl, the reason I can read the affection level is because I think her baseline personality. Okay, let me hide this funny comment.
Yeah,
I think that the current girl, your current girlfriend, my like read on her is she's not a very affectionate person overall,
but she's wholesome. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying she's a like no, they're not mutually exclusive. What I'm saying is like you can't like, for example, the girl that I'm seeing right now, like on dates with, she's a very like kind person overall. So it'd be kind of weird if she's like cold to me, but like you kind of have to judge it based how much it deviates from their baseline. Like I think just the reason I say that I think the girl you're with right now likes you a lot is you can tell in like the videos you send me, just like the way she looks at you and like the overall like body language. I'm just judging it based off body language. So it's not necessarily like you can't expect her to do something that like a really feminine, like super overly kind girl is gonna do, because they're just two different people. You got to see like how much does she differentiate from her like kind of nature's like default nature. But dude, this comment's like so funny. Panda definitely pulled the
gay best friend strat to infiltrate the all girls sleepover. So yeah, going back to like why I posted on Instagram. So like I would show some of the new girls I started dating, like what I did, dude. Instant, I wouldn't say instant lay, but like almost instant lay. Like they would be like, oh my god, this is so nice, and this is something like a lot of girls like wish for. But actually, in reality, the more you do it, the less it becomes attractive. And I was kind of telling the current girl that I'm talking to, I was like, you know, there's a reason why I'm not gonna treat to like really good things, because when we turn 50, 60, and we're still together, you're probably not gonna appreciate it as much anymore. You know, I mean, I feel like that's just how things are as human beings, because things get old after a while. So if you take a girl every year to like a really nice thing, like omakase or something, right? It could very well be getting old after a while. So I mean, I'm not saying to not treat her to nice things. I'm just saying like the frequency could be decreased a little bit if you want to increase your chances of safeness with the relationship. And also, love bombing is definitely a no-go. Like I'm not saying this because I'm jaded. It's just more like the reality, because I've always known this from a very young age, because I've had waves of where I simp for a girl, I start being a fuck boy. I simp for a girl, I start being a F boy again. So it's like my first girlfriend, I treated her like a F boy. My second girlfriend, I treated her like a simp. My third girlfriend, F boy. Fourth, simp, whatever, right? So I always found that like whenever I treated them not really like simpy, they really liked me a lot more. Like those were the relationships that liked me a lot more. And now it's just ingrained in my personality. You know, this is something I wouldn't do just to be safe. I'm still going to be loving and affectionate. It's just a slighter scale of how much should I increase that, right? And how much to a point is it going to become love bombing? I kind of want to question everyone here that's watching. Like, are you going to give like way too much to a point where you turn off the girl? or do you want to just like give just the right amount to attract a wide variety of girls? And when you have that girlfriend that becomes your wife, you keep giving that stagnant level, then it would be sustainable. It wouldn't be like a lot, and you keep giving a lot to a point where she's just like, oh, this is too much. I'm out. I'm gonna go cheat on a guy. Yeah.
What's up, Brian? What's up, brother? Yeah, I think like, dude, to be honest, I actually think love bombing works like well if your dating market value is higher than the girls. Because like low key, I'm just trying to think back to those 2 girls in Taiwan that like I like abruptly ended things with after I got the post clarity, and like I low key like love bombed the shit out of them in hindsight. But it wasn't like in the moment I did mean what I said. I was like, oh yeah, let's go on a trip around Asia. Like in the moment, I was actually thinking that. I just got post clarity and then I changed my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very context dependent, because I agree with you. You should never be like making those kind of posts every single week or whatever. And I would actually argue, I don't know if like did you think that girls could sense your post? Did you think that girl could sense that your post wasn't genuine? Like could you sense that it was like a
she knew it was genuine. She knew it was genuine. How do I know? Is because I could tell she got turned off by it. I mean, she started treating me different. Like I was lower than her. She got turned off, bro.
Yeah. But bro, and I would actually argue that. Yeah. Go ahead.
She had some posts too, like with us. She took those posts down.
It's okay. I did the exact same. I did the exact same shit with my ex, dude. Like it's okay. Like after I broke up with her, everyone's like basically like was like finally like, or they're like, oh, I don't even know why you were dating her for so long, because she like treated you so badly.
Yeah.
But you know what though, I know you say like your like little like strategies of like the Instagram thing or like your cards, like the bookshelf thing. You made a comment earlier saying like insta-lay or whatever, right? Because of that strategy. I kind of disagree. I think like there's a lot of confounding variables here. I think you could have like not that bookshelf there and you still would have probably got insta-lay. Like you literally like the girl you're talking to now, you like talked in a fob accent for like somehow you're like talking like in a fob accent the whole time.
Oh, no, that was a different one. That was a different one.
Okay, but you were able to like sleep with a girl talking in a fob accent that like sounded really bad. It was like self-amusement, right?
Or I'll tell them.
Yeah,
there's this girl I got matched with on Hinge, and then from the very get-go, I started using this fob accent. Like I started to talk like this, and then every time I talk like this, like I just use voice messages. I never use my real voice. Oh my god! And I still got the lay. Like within 2 weeks, I surmise. I think that's when I got the lay, and then.
Wait, did she know you were joking? Like, did she know that was like a like? Did you think it was a real voice?
I joking, you know, and when she found out, I mean, when I finally revealed to her my true voice, she was like, oh, she already kind of knew, right? She already knew. It's just funny to her, but the fact that I used this voice the whole time, every single date, and still got the lay. Oh my god, that was the crazy, dude. Oh.
Did you use that voice when you guys? Oh, did you use that voice when you were like, dude, like?
That would have been very funny if I did that, you know. But I also, you know, I record some of our dates and I sent it to you. I did like a voice memo, like a very quick, like a very in my like a secret operative, you know, like a SWAT team, SEAL Team 6. And I just talk like this, and I got it. Oh my god! Honestly, I think I'm more entertaining with that fob accent. To be very honest, it was.
Dude, you know what? Like,
so effortless.
Dude, there's something to be said about like there's something to be said about like being different, not in like a special way like you just showed us. But I was kidding. No, because I think the reason in Taiwan I'm having like a lot better like time when I'm on the dates is because I'm like much more novel, dude. I'm like an ABC, like they're not used to guys with such like shitty Chinese, but at the same time my English is like fluent, so it's like a very like mysterious kind of vibe. Versus like, you know, I will say like Taiwanese guys apparently have like no game because like they're all too like much of pushovers or like scared to express themselves. So like I've gotten girls tell me like a lot of Taiwanese guys like they're not direct enough and you can never really tell what they're thinking, which is probably just like an influence from Japanese culture, because I think Taiwanese people is like mix of like Japanese, Chinese and Japanese culture wise. So yeah,
and American,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. American, yeah.
Because it's
so
more hookup is more prominent there now. It's I mean,
dude, hookup is.
Yeah, I mean, the first day it's very easy. Not like super easy, but like you could have success on the first date. You can't do that in Malaysia or Japan or anywhere else. Some parts in East Asia or even Southeast Asia.
Thoughts on love bombing to convince the girl to I mean, that's like more of the F-boy strategy. Like I think like low key I love bombed until I like hooked up with the girl and then I kind of just like told her I want to be friends. I literally told one girl that I was I told one girl that I wasn't over my ex, dude. It was like so bad.
That's not even
I was like, hey,
that's not love bombing, dude. That's just
no, to end it with her. I told her like, hey, like I use it as an excuse. Yeah. But yeah, I think I agree with Doge right here. Like if you have like if your perceived value is higher than the girl's, and then you match her energy, like she feels like she's like you're choosing her. But if you have a lower perceived value, then it makes her think you like kind of need her approval, right? I would agree with that. I think it's all just like it's all like checks and balances, right? If we're gonna take like the freaking U.S. legislative system and right?
Yeah, I don't agree with that, because I feel like my perceived value was higher, but then once I started love bombing, I think she just started looking at my perceived value as much lower. So yeah,
but you didn't match her energy because she didn't make that post. You like made that post on.
Oh no, she made posts, but I think like I guess I started in the end. Like she started to make less posts, and then I started making more, and then that's when I effed up, you know. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that case it's not that bad, dude. It's really not that bad. Dude, I know what ribbon is, bro. It's like the butthole thing. But I just had to clarify, dude. Dude, fucking Charles, man.
I think that's an example of zinan. Like,
yeah, it's
not knowing.
Dude, I think also like this girl thinks I'm more of a zinan than I actually am, because like you know, I do say some things that will make you kind of just extrapolate, like, oh, this guy doesn't know shit. But at the same time, I do actually like know what I'm doing. So it's actually an interesting combo.
Your body language too. Sometimes, like sometimes you act. Like the way you perceive yourself, or not perceive, the way you show yourself, you're more like very professional looking, you know, like like kind of thing.
Bro, dude, did I tell you the girl, like the girl that like we're talking about, she said when we first were eating dinner, she like couldn't tell if I liked her. Like she's like, oh, I thought maybe this guy, you know, he's like he was like a consultant, and like, you know, he like went to business, like he was like business. I thought he just wanted to have like a coffee chat. Like I couldn't even tell if this, you know, she's like, I was actually gonna ask you, like, do you even
traits?
But then like but then after we left the restaurant, she like got really close to me, so I just like held her hand. So like I feel like it's like a bit of a like dichotomy there, but yeah, I'm serious, Brian. Yeah,
I think he's serious about this girl. I think he's already found the wife, according to him.
Yeah, I found my future wife.
Yeah. Hey, don't you have to get going soon though?
Yeah, I got like 10 more minutes, and then I gotta go to ping pong lesson.
All right. Well, I gotta take a piss.
I gotta piss too. Wait, let me piss first, okay? And then okay. Basically, Panda's going to the bathroom, and I just came back. Yeah, I think, dude, to be honest, I feel like I feel like Southeast Asia will change my perception of dating. I think like even coming to Taiwan, I don't know if I can date in the US. Like I think in terms of like my standards is gonna be like so much higher. Like, so I feel like if I go to like Southeast Asia, dude, like especially Vietnam, I find Vietnamese girls the most attractive out of those Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, we should do a bro trip. Let's go to Vietnam. I haven't gone there yet.
Dude, you have a girlfriend. It's not a bro trip.
Same, dude. You don't need to do things with girls to have a bro trip.
I'm just kidding. But when you go to Southeast Asia, I feel like a big appeal of that is the dating part. No.
True, I guess. I mean, I say that because I don't know anything that you can do in Vietnam, right? I think in Thailand, definitely it's like, okay, let's go get some go-go girls or whatever. Whatever. Stuff like that.
Just ask her for a week off of the relationship. Can I take some PTO? Can I take some PTO off this relationship? I've saved up my 10 days.
Dude, your friends Brian and Charles are troll as hell.
Oh yeah, dude, they went to so basically like they came to a retreat last year. Then this year they went to like a Vietnam, or no, they went to like Philippines and like Thailand or something. They went to Southeast Asia, and they invited me, but I said no because I was like too one-nighting over that other chick at the time.
Dude, we should do like a wholesome bro trip, like actually with like the Asian men community. We gotta start something like that.
A whole like a church retreat, a Korean church retreat,
like where we actually vacation or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think like I think basically like, dude, the TLDR of the whole simp not simp thing is just literally like the balance, right? Like I think that's like like just to wrap this thing up.
Well,
it's just
actually,
like
also the love bombing too. Like there's just certain things that are black and white to not love bomb.
I think love bombing works as a strategy though. I'm like that.
Yeah. But to a certain extent, because some girls it'll work really well. It could attract the girl up, but then also some girls it could push her away. So I would just say
it's
like
polarizing. It's a polarizing strategy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like once you're in a relationship, right, for a really long time, I would say you don't even need to love bomb the girl too much. You just keep it like stable to that point.
Yeah. Dude, to be honest, I feel like you know, when we talk about dating advice, it's always gonna be before the relationship, because I think relationship game is like basically dating on hard mode, and the reason I say that is because there's a lot more plausible deniability for girls. Like I think as guys, like if you don't have the option, if you're not single, to like date other girls and kind of get that external validation that you're like wanted, like from the dating context, it's hard to get that in the relationship if the girl is really cold as well. Because something I faced in my ex relationship was like she would like go out to the club with her friends, and then like I'll kind of like call that sus. Like they didn't go out a ton, but her friends for sure were sus. Like they had boyfriends and they would like hit on guys. But I mean, I just had to trust my, like, I don't think my girl did, because she like didn't like guys. She's like I feel like she was like very like, I don't know, it was like interesting thing. But like what I felt like for me, I can never get that same level of like, because I wasn't on the fucking dating apps while I was in a relationship, right? In hindsight, that was the wrong relationship, because we would always fight over this topic of like her going out with her friends, and then like she like never invited me to go out with her, and I'm like, dude, that's like sus as fuck. And she's like, oh, you're just like overthinking it or whatever. She like low-key gaslit me, I think, in hindsight. So like now I'm using that experience as kind of like a way I shift, like I kind of judge other girls. Like if the girl's like kind of like doing the same shit my ex did, then it's a very clear indicator like she didn't like me enough, right? So how do I even get on this topic? I just went on a tangent.
I think the love bombing thing. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do feel like there are girls that.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. Let me cut you off real quick, because I want to get your take. The reason I got on that topic is because dating in a relationship is basically like dating on hard mode, because you need to still like not be complacent, which a lot of like, for me, dude, a lot of my drive comes from being single. Like just to be point blank, dude, like the only reason I'm this lean, like 12% body fat, is because I'm single. And then you have to like still feel like kind of wanted, and then you still have to like maintain frame, right? Because we're essentially just talking about frame control, like the checks and balances part of like you know, give or take, like push pull, right? You got to maintain frame and not give too much, but also at the same time give enough. It's very tough to do that successfully over the long run, and that's why most relationships end up failing. I think that's like part of the reason.
Well, I think a lot of the things that you pointed out is more so physique, but I would feel like the hardest part actually is that you become dependent on this person for your social gain, and also for your confidence, just like this person complimenting you, whatever, right? Because now you don't have like other people, and you spend less time with your friends, so most of it is going to have to come from this girl or guy that you're dating. And so
Mhm.
I do feel like it's harder in that regard. But if you maintain a healthy balance where you're not spending too much time with this girl, for example, like love bombing her all day, then you'll
Mhm.
definitely find that external validation. And well, not external, you're definitely going to be able to internalize that validation by going elsewhere for that. I'm not saying like go get other girls, but more so like you spend more time with homies. Like, you know, I would say this is like spending time with a homie, this podcast. And
Oh, this is
this,
strictly business for me, bro. I expect a Venmo after. No, I'm just kidding.
you got pay me,
No,
Memo. You got some crazy tips there. Hey, remember
no, actually,
that one time last time we I forgot what it was. I think we both did a flex or something, right? And then that guy actually paid us like 20
oh,
bucks.
that was Charles, dude. Bro,
That was
dude,
Charles?
when you're raking in like bank at Uber, man, dude, that shit was like a penny.
Dang,
He just
dude.
basically flicked a virtual penny at me with his Uber
I
salary.
actually felt bad. I was like, shit.
Nah, he's like Uber salary, dude. It's all good. Nah, no, Charles is like just a homie.
You got
But
Venmo me that. I'm just kidding.
no,
Nah,
I agree. I actually think that like
totally
you know what you said about like the key is you can't derive your self-worth from the relationship.
a lot of people do though. That's the thing. They don't have a healthy balance.
I did, dude. To be honest, I kind of did is like I didn't. I feel like I had like my YouTube channel going and like friends and stuff and like hobbies. But at the same time, I feel like it really like activated this like anxious attachment style that I didn't realize I had.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know the attachment styles or?
Yeah, I know. But I want to say that like I felt like that happened to me too, because like I became very dependent, and then also I tried to seek that elsewhere because I was like, yeah, this isn't helping. And I think that's another reason why I talk to other girls, because I wanted to keep my social ability up with just people in general. And I felt like it was getting lost because I was just only talking to one person. I think that's one of the downsides of a really big downside of having a girlfriend or boyfriend, because you become so dependent on that person for everything, like for love, for social, for whatever, confidence. And you need to know how to balance it, especially if you're someone that loves to love bomb.
Yeah. I think girls want a man that's competent and shit to do, but also like loves them. And then we want everything. We want everything. Yeah. You realize like, dude, Brian and Charles, dude, these guys are like when you're on the dating apps, dude, like these are the kind of guys that get like thousands of matches. Dude. It's not even funny. Like this guy's like hella good looking. No homo.
And they
I don't know why. I don't know, dude. I don't know why they came to my retreat, dude. Honestly,
they still have time to like listen to our podcast when, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about like YouTube and like content creations. Like even for me, sometimes like I'm just like, dude, who the fuck will like listen to what I'm trying to talk about, right? But then it's like you never know like who finds it interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to say. Like,
I'm at the gym.
Brian's comment,
Yeah.
he's saying that you can't be dependent. I feel like when you love bomb someone, you're kind of facilitating this dependency on this person. You're kind of speaking it into existence. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Like if you love bomb to a certain extent where you start thinking you actually love this girl and you actually are going to marry this girl 100% when things are not still like that stable, then yeah, you're becoming dependent on the relationship. I mean, it's happened to me multiple times. So yeah.
But I feel like my mindset's kind of different with this girl. I could see like because I want kids, right? So I'm trying to like assess things like from because dude, also like I'm like fucking 29, right? Like I have friends that like they're like dude, even like the dating coach I took like a long time ago, he's like 42 and like he just moved to Thailand to like try to find a wife.
Damn,
I'm trying to avoid like ending up like him, bro. Like when I'm 42 and like I don't have a kid yet, right? So I need like on the one hand, we're like I feel like in modern dating, we're always like, okay, well you need to like have parameters in place and like be selective, but at the same time, dude, like we're all gonna die eventually, and like you know we gotta have kids before like we're too old, right? I want to see them like grow up and stuff. So you also have to like you know long-term plan, and like if you want kids, like plan properly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like because that's like the whole point of dating for me is like I want to just like get married and like have kids eventually.
Yeah.
Does my girl go clubbing to the bars? She's only gone clubbing twice and she's 24, and she says she doesn't like clubbing. So I feel like that was like a huge green flag.
I think my girl does that too. She only gone like twice, and she was just like, yeah, for experience. The other ones
that's like what she said too.
The other ones, my exes that like went clubbing quite often. God, their perspectives were kind of crazy. I think there's probably a direct correlation. Like the more they go clubbing, the more, I don't know, logical.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's self-selection, dude. The girls that go clubbing a lot, there's a reason they do that.
Yeah.
I think Doge and Brian, they both said the same thing, right? This guy's saying like her perceived value of you and is higher than your perceived value of her, and then he's basically saying like you both have to think it's a good deal for your relation to work out. Like I think you can basically just sum up that like a solid, healthy relationship is a win-win for both parties.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, I mean, I've always agreed on that. It's not like I'm not saying that. It's just more like to maintain that solid and stable relationship, you definitely need to have some restraint. Like sometimes if you feel way too much love for this girl, like just maybe tone it down a little bit. Don't go overboard with it if you feel like it's gonna go overboard. But that's the thing. I feel like that's what love does. It makes us blind. And so you might not think that it's overboard. You might not think that this girl's gonna take it for granted. But that's the thing. Like we could be blinded by love and be thinking that she's gonna appreciate it. No, she's a good person. No, she's kind. There's a reason why I'm with her. And maybe you love bomb her and you didn't tone it down, and then it's actually just doing more harm than good. I feel like there's still ways you could show affection without going too extra. And any girl, I feel like, even if you think she's the right girl, any girl could still be turned off by your actions any day.
Yeah, but I think like in general, like a good principle to live by is like every relationship is temporary.
Not if she's your wife. Not if she's going to become your wife, though.
But you have to be prepared for it to be temporary. Like it could end. Like you can't control like another person, right? It's like you can only really control like what's going on right now. So I think it's just good to like, especially in the earlier stages of dating. Like I know I'm saying like, you know, this could be my wife, right? Like, and I'm like kind of serious. Like I'm like really into this girl, but at the same time, if she like decides like not to pursue things or whatever, like ends it, I'm just gonna have to move on, right? And like you know, like that that's just how life is, right? That's just like life. I feel like
the variables that it's gonna end though.
Not even the well, I think for me right now, the way I position this like kind of like situation is like, I mean, she knows I'm like she also says like I'm like the oldest guy she's dated, and like she says she likes older guys because they kind of know what they want more. So she knows like I want to like date her, or like she knows like what my intentions are. Yeah. So it's really a matter of like if she's down, right, after like the end of the month, basically.
No, but like what I was trying to get at with like the variable thing is that like some variables of why you guys would stick together long term or not is that you guys break up because of loss of feelings. You guys could argue a lot, right? There could be a lot of these variables, and I think one of them is like she gets turned off, and so I think
100%, yeah,
you have to constantly maintain it, and a factor of maintaining it is also not turning her off, and that is maintaining it for yourself, because you don't want to turn her off and then you get heartbroken in the end because you just love bombed her so much and now she left the relationship. Like if you want to keep the relationship, you still have to do things that would turn her on. Like for example, like this is an obvious one, but like keeping your job, keeping the revenue flowing in, because she's not going to want to date a brokey, right?
I mean, I think like a girl, like if you guys like are like dating for a while, then you like lose your job for temporary. Like a true test is like how does she treat you like in that in between stage, because like a freaking gold digger is gonna leave, right? True. But yeah, I agree. I will say you do want to sprinkle in some unpredictability here, because like
that's a big risk if you guys have kids too. I wouldn't want to take that risk and be like, oh, this is a good test for me to see if she's a keeper.
I'm not saying like you should do it like lose your job intentionally, but there's like, you know, life happens, right? Like maybe you go through some hardship, like someone gets sick or whatever. Like the true test is like how do they like respond in that, right? I feel like nowadays like a lot of guys are just scared to like have a girlfriend because of all the freaking like bad like experiences from modern dating, but the truth is like a healthy like marriage, if we're going to say marriage, is like you're kind of willing to like compromise and like kind of sacrifice. Like at the same time, like I'm a firm believer you got to always kind of like not be complacent, because the easiest way to like have the girl like lose attraction is if you like you stop being the reason she got attracted to you in the first place, right? Like for me, I got like kind of fat like in my ex relationship. Like looking back, I'm like, oh my god, I was fucking chubby.
And
I feel like for me, I think like
look, like if you attracted her by not being so loving and not being super affectionate, I think it might be pretty good to just keep that level of like love. I mean, look, the thing is,
if you attracted her, and you're like, yeah,
if you're a really loving guy naturally, you know, that's whatever. But then you have to kind of start evaluating: are you gonna be like really, really loving later down the road to a point where you turn her off? So,
yeah, I agree. I agree with like Brian. I think like a competent man is okay with such risk and potential for loss and suffering. Like, I think where we kind of differ is like, you know, I've already accepted that like what I'm doing, I could end up just like kind of like getting rejected eventually, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think with this comment,
I think you're very much about like risk. Like, I think like, I feel like where we differ is I think I speak a lot on like case by case basis, whereas I feel like you do a lot of extrapolation from past, like you're trying to do like pattern recognition, and then maybe like you're just more like into like, oh, like it's kind of more black and white, like set rules, like, oh, like because you're saying like, oh, you should never like love bomb, but then it's like, well, love bombing, that word is context dependent, because you can only be love bombing if it's like an imbalance of like how much you like show for the affection you show for the girl, right? So I think like I think that's where we differ in this whole debate. I think you're kind of speaking more in terms of like general principles, and then I think I'm more like, it really depends on like, it depends, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second. What the
hell? Yeah, I think relationships, like, I mean, it's like honeymoon. I think it's like honeymoon. Like, obviously, like for me in my past relationship, the honeymoon ended and then it like went really sour, and I should have just left and like not done long distance. But it was like a learning experience. Yeah, in the end, it's just be yourself. That's the most sustainable way to approach a relationship. Whether you're like a naturally lovey-dovey love bomber or not, she should just be compatible with you. Yeah, I think it's weird. Yeah, if you're like not lovey-dovey and then you like lovey-dovey as a way to like get the girl, that's just like a deviation from your baseline personality. So I think like there is like certain like things you should do, like, you know, match her vibe and like some stuff that like is kind of like I think it's common sense, but like at the end of the day, you shouldn't change your personality too much from its baseline. That's kind of where I like disagree with a lot of these like more like guys who love like pickup. I feel like they start like making up like fake identities at the club, and it's like they literally say like start lying, and then they like literally like dude, there's this one guy like I'm friends with on Instagram. He's like a approach monster, Colin, and like I remember he had like some Instagram reel where it's like some shit about going to the club and then making up a fake identity, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cringe. But like, yeah. That's why you only date 18 to 24-year-olds, because if they leave you, just basically bought low, sold high. Yeah, I will say that I think like maybe I'm just immature, but I tend to get along better with girls between like that are like younger than me, because I went on dates with girls older than me, and I feel like they're just like really boring, to be honest. Yeah, I rented a car and drove it around and returned it. Yeah, I think it's just like,
sorry about that, guys.
You just missed a bunch of analogies of talking about relationships, like test driving cars.
Yeah, no, like pull up that Brian Zoe comment again with how he said,
oh, this one?
I left. No, the one I think before. It's like,
oh, this one?
Taking a risk. Yeah. So
I got to leave in 10 minutes, by the way. 10 more minutes left of the stream, guys.
Yeah. Let's finish 10 minutes. So I don't agree with this. Do you know why? Like, Brian, I want to ask you, like, when you meet a girl, if you see like her body count, like if she's like sleeping with a lot of guys, talking to a lot of guys, would you still want to like continue dating her, or is that like an instant screen out?
Wait, what does that have to do with this statement though?
Because this is like with such risks and the potential for loss and suffering. So how I see it is like reducing risk.
Do you realize this guy's body count's like higher than any girls he's probably dating? So I don't think like
I know, but the thing is, like, when you want to take a girl serious, anyone, right? If it's like a girl that wants to take a guy serious, or a girl, damn, what am I trying to say? If anyone is interested in anyone, okay, and they want to see their loyalty,
right,
then they would base it off a scale of, okay, like, does this guy have like a promiscuous past? Does this girl have a promiscuous past? And they would kind of factor that into like if this is going to have any sort of longevity, or if it's going to have sustainability. So I think we all as men, yeah, we're down for some risk and potential for loss and suffering, but I'm not going to increase that loss or potential risk by dating the biggest hoe in SoCal. Like, I would just avoid dating that biggest hoe, right? And so,
but
there's what you said. I'm already taking a risk with like a relationship. So if I go into a relationship, it's a risk already. The thing is, if I really like a girl, I'm gonna do whatever I can to maintain that relationship. And a factor of that is not love bombing her or doing things that are black and white. For example, you're not gonna go and look, any guy who promotes, like, for example, Andrew Tate promotes, go and hook up with a girl, and your girlfriend should not be jealous or should not be upset about that. I would say that's a very risky thing to promote to guys, right? I think we could all agree that just not cheating is a very safe thing to do. So why would a girl be with a guy who's going to cheat on her, right? Like, it's not, we're not going to just increase our chance of having a failed relationship and a potential loss and suffering because we want to date a guy who cheats.
Yeah. All right. Quick interruption. Yeah. Appreciate the super thanks, Andrew. I think it's been a good stream so far. So let me know if you want us to cover anything before it ends in like 10 minutes. But yeah, going back to your point, like Panda, like I think this is the thing, right? Everyone has different risk tolerances, or like everyone has different things they value. Because while one person might be like, oh, if a girl's body count's over 10 or like whatever the number is, it's a deal breaker. Another person might judge the girl based off like her current state, because, you know, like people are dynamic. Like, what if there's a guy who used to like only pay for escorts and then now like kind of wants to change? Are you going to judge a guy based on his past just because that's how he used to be? Like, I feel like you can't really judge someone. Like, you need to obviously factor in their past. And
I don't do that. I don't do that though. I don't judge. Okay, like I think I told you before, like my past girlfriend, she had a high body count. I was still with her. Yeah, so that was just an example.
Yeah. But I think like another reason I like this current girl is she has like very low body count. So it's like a green flag, right? Whereas like that 132-year-old
man, because you're not okay with the risk and potential loss of suffering, like you want to reduce that, like that's
no. But this is the thing: the risk with this girl that I've seen so far, right, is that she's like a bit naive, and then she also has like a lot. She has like a few, like she has guy friends, right? Like, so she's younger, like has like a lot of friends. So like a risk I see is like that could potentially be like a gray zone in the future. Like, oh, but then I asked her, like, I was like, oh, if I thought a guy was like, you know, trying to hit on you, but you think he's just a friend, like how would you respond to that situation? I kind of gave her like a stress test, dude. Like it's like give me her like a specific like case. And then she just said, she gave a really mature response. She'd be like, well, I would actually first ask you like why you feel that way. And then we can kind of just like talk about it and like troubleshoot. And I thought that was a very mature response for like, especially like a really young girl that doesn't have much dating experience. So like, versus like my ex, dude, she would have gaslit the shit out of me, dude. That, like, I got like gaslit so hard, like in hindsight. So yeah, I just feel like for me, like I really, you know, pay attention on a case by case basis. Obviously for me, body count, if the girl's body count's like too high, it does give me a bit of like a sour taste in my mouth. Like, you know, for the LTR. Because like I remember like that one 32-year-old girl, I asked her body count. It was like a little higher than mine, and I got a bit like, it kind of turned me off a little bit.
Yeah. So
okay, let's see. We got some comments.
I think it's just like everyone in general. It's a universal thing that the person that we want to end up with long term, we want to have as least risk and potential loss or suffering. Like even men, like we don't want to deal with a girl who like yaps all the time and like complains all the time, and right, like it's just like why we avoid girls like that. The number one thing that we want to do is we want to have our peace. Like we want to prioritize women. Like I don't think I see that many guys with girls who have girlfriends that are just like so problematic and just chaotic. I think a lot of guys just classify that as negative, and we want to avoid that. Like what we classify as like wholesome and wifey material is someone who has a lot more stability, someone who has something that's going for her, and someone who doesn't argue that much, and someone who's not opinionated to a point where she's toxic. So I think these are all risks, right? I think we avoid those risks as men, as competent men. I feel like competent men actually avoid risks like that. But I think what Brian's trying to say,
the reward must be worth the risk. Is he just did a follow-up comment?
Yeah, but like, I think what he's trying to say is that like a man who has absolutely no risk taking, that's not really a competent man, I think. But yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I do have like certain risks that I take with every relationship. And if I like a girl enough, especially if we're gonna have kids, I want to avoid as much irregularities and risks that I have to control. And look, I feel like if you're to not give love and affection, that's also risk that you're bringing, right? So the fact that a lot of people here are arguing that you should still love bomb or you should still give a lot of affection because you want to mitigate the amount of risk that you destroy that relationship by not giving her love, that's also a sign of like reducing that risk. So everyone's focused on reducing risk, right? So I'm just saying that like to a certain extent, like giving too much affection becomes classified as love bombing, and that could very well turn off the women. And like, look, like if you're just someone that is naturally very loving and caring for a woman, yeah, you're probably going to decrease it a little bit if you do want to decrease it, but you have to look at all your past circumstances. Like, did the girl stop loving you? And you have to ask, why did she stop loving you? So yeah, I mean, a lot of these dudes that I see that are simps, they get cheated on, and the girl leaves them. Almost all my relationships, it was me that wasn't satisfied, and it was for these simps, it was the girl that wasn't satisfied, and I think it's because the girl was not that attracted to this guy because he showed way too much affection. And I'm saying that too much affection could play a negative role. I'm not saying like don't give any affection. That's it.
I just think that maybe people are misinterpreting like that you're scared to be vulnerable, because I think like it comes down to like, are you willing to be vulnerable, right? Because we're talking about risk mitigation, like risk and vulnerability kind of go like hand in hand. Like the more vulnerable you are, the more risk you're kind of setting yourself up for. It's like more risky, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, in the case of your simp friends that like they're being like beta as fuck, it's like they're probably doing other shit that's like subconsciously like you know that they're not telling you. Like they have no opinion. Like they're like pushovers. They like have no backbone. I did the same shit in my ex relationship. Like I think like a lot of it, my ex even told me at one point, like, I wish you like would argue with me more, right? It's like I didn't have a backbone. So it's like yeah, the simpiness is like a thing, but it's not just like there's other symptoms at play. So I think like the important thing is you don't want to like deviate too much. You do want to be yourself, but the important thing is to like build yourself up as much as possible where you have shit going on, like you have goals. You don't rely on the girl for like everything. I think that's the only way you can really set yourself up for like success in the long run, because ultimately, dude, like relationships come and go, you know, especially with like dating. my like philosophy nowadays with dating is kind of just like, if I meet a girl that I think like I really enjoy spending time with her and like I'm happy, like dude, I went on so many dates where like I'm just like, dude, what the fuck am I like? I felt like I wasted so much time afterwards. It's like I'd rather take a risk with a girl that like, you know, makes me happy, and like, yeah, maybe it's not practical if I want to do long distance across the world, but it beats going on a bunch of first dates where I feel like I wasted my time, or like there's one date where it's like a fucking fat Mexican girl and like I like dropped way too much money on, because like we went to this bar and I didn't know, like I don't know the name of alcohol, and like they didn't have mixed drinks, so I was like, oh, what do you want? And she said like 1942, and the tab was like $100 for 2 shots. And then I just paid for it because I didn't have the backbone to just walk away at the time. I really wish I just like fucking like said, I'm not paying for this. But I'm not disagreeable enough to be like, I'm not paying for this. So I just paid for it. And then she was also like acted like she was like super entitled. Like, and then I found out she only liked black guys. So I was like, what am I doing on this date?
She just used,
so I just like dropped like $200 on a first date where like the girl was hella unpleasant. She was not even that good looking. Like she kind of like catfished me a bit. And like I don't know. I feel like I should just walked away. But like the point I'm trying to get at is, oh yeah, I gotta leave in like 4 minutes. But like the point I'm trying to get at is basically like, you know, you're cautioning me. I know you're trying to like look out for me and caution me from like getting hurt in this situation. But I've like had so many bad like dating experience, like unpleasant dating experiences, like in Seattle, where like this has been like 100 times better, or like infinitely times better, like in terms of like how much I've enjoyed dating her, that like it's fine if I try and fail. Basically, right?
Okay. Well, hey, one last quick thing I want to say before like we ended. After I say this, we can just end it straight up. But I kind of say all these things because remember I sent you something, like it was like my ex best friend. Like he tried to be friends with me again. This guy is a super vulnerable and simp ass dude. What sparked this conversation today and made me more passionate about it is because this guy is the type of guy. Okay, he makes a lot of money. Okay. But he was supposed to be doing real estate with another one of my friends. He was going to do a real estate deal. And so he said to this friend of mine, he was like, hey, sorry, things are kind of going rough at home right now. So I can't, you know, continue doing real estate with you. And my friend calls him and then he says, he's like, yeah, things are not going well with my girlfriend. She says I need to spend more time with her. I am surmising that it's because she doesn't have that much affection for him, and she thinks that he needs to spend more time with her in order to like get that affection up and going. But you know, I think it's honestly, it's reverse psychology. It's honestly just gonna make her more pushed away, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is the guy. This is the guy that he got cheated on. Actually, he turned his ex-girlfriend lesbian because he was just so simp. He was just always love bombing and saying like really sappy things. The stuff that I would say, he would say that on a daily basis. Like that post that I posted, he would say that shit on a daily basis. So I'm just saying like there's a certain extent that if you're always going to be vulnerable, and to like a lot of women, you just have to see like how vulnerable you're being at if you're pushing away that girl. But it's really hard to determine that when love is blind, right? So I mean, there's usually... I
mean, I think that's like a very extreme case, though. Like, I think you're using a lot of extremities to like form general judgment. Like your friend that you're like this super simp guy. I think like all your like simp examples for the majority come from like a few simps that you know, right? But the truth is, like, there are very few guys. Like normal guys don't act that simpy normally, I think.
No, there's a lot of guys out there like that, dude. Probably more than F boys that I know.
Well, I mean, F boys inherently F boys are rarer because to be an F boy, you have a prerequisite of like being able to get laid, and like most guys can't get laid. So it makes sense why there's more simps, because there's no prerequisite to be a simp.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, anyways, man, I know you gotta get going. But really good discussion. I really like this episode, man. This was awesome, dude.